Hi-ho. In the book of Matthew, Jesus says that we must be childlike in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, most of us, most Christians, are probably familiar with this, and most of us probably more or less ignore it on a daily basis. I think it deserves some looking into. I mean, Jesus doesn't say it will be hard for you to get into heaven if you're not childlike. He says you have to be childlike in order to get to heaven. So we really need to look at that. Now, what does it mean to be childlike? What's the difference between a child and an adult? I mean, there's some pretty obvious differences when you look at them. Adults tend to be more serious. They tend to not smile as much. When you look at a child, when I look at my kids, I see that they are often very joyful, very curious, and very playful. And they're so honest and open to everything around them. And then I look at adults and they're very serious. They're often stressed. They're focused on tasks that need to be done. Where children just want to live and love and play. And these are all things that I think we need to start trying to become more like. But instead of trying to become childlike, I think that we actually spend most of our time trying to make our children become like adults. Now, this is very problematic and is actually the opposite of what we should obviously be doing. If God says we have to be like children to get into heaven, why would we try to take our children and turn them into adults? That's ridiculous. But yet, if you think about it, that's really what we do. I mean, when they turn 5 and 6 years old, we send them off to school, which is kind of a lot like going to work, which is something adults do. And what do children do at school? Well, they have to sit down, they have to be quiet, they're not allowed to play, they have to do what they're told. And I think this is exactly the opposite of what children should be having to do. I mean, they can't be playful. I work in a cafeteria, and you know what I do every day? I tell kids to stop talking, I tell them to sit down, I tell them to be quiet. Basically what I'm saying is, act like an adult, act like an adult, act more like an adult. When really, the children should be saying to us, act like us, be more playful, be more happy, be more alive. But we're not. We think that seriousness and doing things in the proper order at the proper time are the most important things. And we teach this to our children through school, and then they grow up to be adults who want to be like the very same way. And it's just a vicious cycle of creating adults who are in no way childlike. I found this yesterday, which I thought was interesting. This is from my 5th grade memory book. When I was in 5th grade at a small Catholic school, and this page is called The Best Thing After 5th Grade, and everyone wrote down what their favorite thing about the 5th grade was. We have recess, snack, snack, nothing, snack, recess, nothing, recess, nothing, nothing, recess, and snack, giving the teacher a hard time, and recess. So there we see 4 different favorite things. Recess, snack, nothing at all, and giving the teacher a hard time. Now, I'm pretty sure that last one was my writing, because I do remember giving my 5th grade teacher a lot of hard time, and that seems just like the thing that I would say. Other than that, people liked recess, the part of school where you can actually play with your friends and do whatever you want. Snack, a mini version of recess where you can hang out and you're eating, and nothing at all. Nowhere in there did anyone name a single subject they liked the most, or anything, sitting quietly, doing what I'm told. None of those things were on the list, because those are the things that prevent children from being childlike. Through school, we have created an entire system of stripping away the childlikeness from our kids and forming them into mini adults. Even think about playtime. Kids used to spend time in their free time playing games with each other, but now we've turned it into an adult arena where they play organized sports, and they do things under the strict instruction of an adult, telling them how to do it, when to do it, what to do, all these things. And we see that kids are not allowed to laugh when they want to laugh. My best friend and I, one time in gym class, probably in middle school or somewhere around that time, we were laughing so hard, I don't even remember what we were laughing about. And we were punished. We were made to do push-ups because we were laughing. And then we couldn't even manage to do the push-ups because we continued to laugh through them. In which case we were faced with the ultimatum of either staying after school or having our parents called. And we chose staying after school. Although looking back, if our parents were called, I really wonder what he would have said. Hello, yes, your kids were laughing today. They need to be punished. But anyways, so if you really think about it, school, we're not allowed to laugh when we want to laugh. We can't talk. We can't express ourselves when we want to express ourselves. Kids aren't allowed to be curious. I mean, who asks all the questions in the classroom? The teacher. Who has all the answers? The teacher. Who does most of the talking? The teacher. What happens if a student talks? They're told to shut up. I mean, not necessarily in those words. Of course, we say everything so nicely. But when it comes down to it, kids are being stripped of their childhood. I mean, it's really a systematic stripping down. And so, of course, we have adults who aren't childlike and have no desire to be childlike whatsoever. As C.S. Lewis has a great quote where he says, because, in 1 Corinthians, I think it says that, you need to strip down. As a child, I thought and acted like a child, and as a man, I put away childish things and started acting and thinking like a man. Well, C.S. Lewis says that he put away childish things, including the fear of being childlike and the desire to be like an adult. And I think that's huge. That's so key. We need to become more like a child. We need to get rid of the fear of being looked at as childlike and embrace the idea of being childlike in the way that we can be more open and loving, more joyful, more happy, more laughing, more playful, so that we can truly enter into the kingdom of heaven.